Sharks lose yet again on FS2 against the Okay, this is not going to take too long, folks. I don't think. Because this match was kind of slow, kind of boring. And then they just got interesting in the second half until it was not. So, mostly in this game, this was a defensive struggle. Both teams were able to, give up 2 tries each. They only allowed. There was only 3 tries in the entire game. Miami only had 1 try. DC had 2, but yet it was enough to win. All right, so here we go. We start off the game. Pretty simple, pretty defensive struggle, and then there was the situation. So in the 17th. We skip ahead. There was both teams get close to the try. Well, especially DC. I feel like DC had a better momentum, especially in the weird weather that they had. It was rainy. It was muggy. But then finally in the 17th minute, Talatena, Mu, from the far left side, was able to sneak one through to get the try in for DC. But then there was a problem. There was a collapse in a mall by Ardell, so he gets called in for a yellow card, so he had to sit down. Bowd missed it wide to the right, so it remains a 5-0 game. Then Seoul, a few minutes later, also collapsed the mall, and then he goes to Sin Bin for a collapse in the mall. So 2 players are done for about 10 minutes, but both yellow cards end up being killed off as Ardell comes out of the Sin Bin and he gets one through, goes from the left side, goes right in the middle of the section of the try zone, and he gets an automatic 7 try, and Miami takes the lead 5-7, and that's the halftime score. All right, so the second half starts. Miami looking fairly decent. DC is trying to shake off the try. Echeverry tries to drop goal, but he misses. Videla then has a penalty kick, and he converts it. And so he converts it to make it 10-5 Miami. So looking good so far. But immediately after the penalty kick, DC kicks it. Sharks didn't get anywhere to the rugby ball. And then Moeller just catches it from their own kick and then goes all the way home. What kind of defense is that is beyond me. So they ties the game up. Bowd missed it again. And for those 20 minutes, there was basically nothing. It's been a pretty boring defensive game. The scrums have been a little bit wonky. The lineouts were a bit wonky. Too many knock-ons, too many penalties, too many turnovers. They were turning the ball over. Miami was turning the ball over, but DC was also turning the ball over. And you could sense some frustrations in this game too. It's not a rivalry per se, but it felt like it because there was some pushing, just shoving away and stuff like that. You can see the emotions from both sides. A lot is at stake here. Oh, mind you, this is on national television, FS2. Well, I shouldn't say national television, but you get what I'm trying to say. It was on cable. So, there's that. So, when we get to the 70s in minutes, Robertson would go for the penalty kick, and let's just say he missed it wide to the right. And then a little bit after that, Greg gets a yellow card off the TMO review for seemingly a head contact to the DC player. I almost for sure that was going to be a red card, but it deemed not as egregious, so he gets a yellow card at the very least. But then when that penalty does happen, Robertson would try again to get this penalty kick, in a typical Sharks fashion, just straight up not being able to do anything on their offense. The defense did all they could, and all they could do is just let it by. And that he didn't just score this penalty kick. He did not just win it. He barely got the ball through the goal, the goal post. That rugby ball just went over, and that wins the game for DC 13-10. DC just barely wins this one, and to give credit to them, they did deserve it. The Sharks, they didn't deserve it. They were not. They didn't have the score opportunities, and when they did, they totally fumbled the ball. And I'm serious when I said that. You want to know what's even worse? This is DC's first home win, believe it or not. So the Sharks, they at least get a point. They at least get a point, right? Is that how it works? But either way, this loss stinks. It stinks on multiple reasons. One, I feel like this was a winnable game, and the Sharks did not do it, and it makes it a little bit harder to get up above the fourth spot in the Eastern Conference. You need to go on a winning streak to get this happen, and beating the teams right in front of you to make that happen. Our next game next week is against the Utah Warriors, and that's going to be at Fort Lauderdale AutoNation Sports Field in Florida with this one. So Utah losing as well, but they're still a far better team. They are able to, they're able to produce some points. But can the Sharks somehow pull this off? We shall see, man. We shall see. But either way, guys, that's going to do it for this one. I'm going to talk about the team that's actually really exciting to watch, and that team made history. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this one. If you have enjoyed this video, not the game, because I think the game was pretty, it just sucked. It just sucks that we barely lose this game. But anyway, with that being said, hit the like button, subscribe our content anyway, because Miami TVG is back, and when he does, hit me right there with the fear team you deserve. This is Miami TVG sign out, folks. Good night.